Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. We walk into the store together, the four of us, my wife, Emily, her best friend, Sarah, and Sarah's husband, Ben. It's just an ordinary Saturday afternoon. The air is thick with the scent of new clothes, freshly unpacked shoes, and a hint of overpriced perfume. I never particularly enjoy these shopping trips, but Emily insists on making them a social outing. "It'll be fun," she had said with a bright smile. Her smile is my weakness, so here we are, trailing after Sarah as she chats about the latest trends. At some point, Ben's phone buzzes. He checks it, his face momentarily tightening before he turns to Sarah. "I've got to step out for a bit," he says, his voice even. "Some urgent business came up." Sarah, hardly paying attention, waves him off. Go. We'll still be here when you get back." What catches me off guard is Emily's next move. "I'll go with you," she says, almost too quickly. Her voice is casual, too casual, but her hand is already reaching for her purse before I can react. "Why would you?" I start, but she cuts me off with that same dazzling smile. "I'll be right back, babe. Just a quick run to help Ben with something." I watch them leave together, my eyes following Emily's slim figure as she hurries after him. Something churns in my gut, but I push it down. It's probably nothing. Time passes slowly, as Sarah and I drift between aisles, not really looking at anything. We chat absent-mindedly, but I keep glancing at the clock on my phone. 30 minutes pass. Then 45. An hour. "Do you think they're all right?" I ask, trying to sound nonchalant, but there's an edge to my voice that Sarah catches. "They should be back by now," she says, frowning. "I mean, how long could this business take?" My gut twists tighter. Something's off, I can feel it. I exchange a glance with Sarah, and without a word, we start searching. We comb through the aisles, peering down corridors, and even check the food court. Nothing. They're nowhere to be found. Panic begins to bubble beneath my skin. What if something happened? What if they got into an accident? But then we see it, the changing rooms at the back of the store. The door to one of them is slightly ajar. I freeze, my heart skipping a beat. There's a noise, faint but unmistakable. A low murmur. My feet move on their own. Sarah follows closely behind, her brows knitted in confusion. As I approach, the murmur becomes clearer, more distinct. It's the sound of breathing, heavy, deliberate. I push the door open. The sight before me is a punch to the gut, knocking the air from my lungs. My knees threaten to buckle, but I remain standing, my hands trembling at my sides. There, on her knees, is my wife, Emily. Her mouth is on Ben, his head tilted back in satisfaction. Time freezes, the walls of the changing room closing in on me, suffocating. For a split second, everything is quiet. I'm not sure if I'm breathing, if my heart is still beating, if this is even real. But it is. It's all too real. "What the?" Sarah's voice is a sharp crack in the silence. Ben jolts, his eyes snapping open in horror as he pushes Emily away. She stumbles, falling back on the floor, her face pale with shock. "Wait, it's not," Emily begins, scrambling to her feet. But I can't hear her. I don't want to. The rage bubbling inside me explodes, surging through my veins like fire. My fists clench so tightly my nails dig into my palms. My wife, my Emily, has been unfaithful. And with Ben, of all people. I glance at Sarah. Her face is a mask of betrayal and devastation, mirroring my own emotions. You disgust me," she spits, her voice trembling as tears pool in her eyes. She turns and walks away, but I can't move. I'm rooted to the spot, frozen in this moment of pure, unrelenting pain. Emily steps toward me, her eyes wide with desperation. "It's not what it looks like," she says, her voice shaky. "I swear, it was a mistake, Shut up." The words come out cold, unfamiliar. "Don't say another word." She stops, her lips trembling, and for the first time, I see fear in her eyes. But it's too late. She's broken something inside me, something that can't be fixed. Ben, the coward, is pulling up his pants, muttering apologies under his breath. But I don't care about him. Right now, I only care about Emily, and how I'll make her pay for this. Without another word, I turn and walk away, leaving them behind. Sarah catches up to me, her face streaked with tears. I feel numb, empty, but beneath the numbness, something dark stirs. Revenge. She thinks she can get away with this. She thinks I'll just forgive her like nothing happened. But she's wrong. I'm going to ruin her life. I glance at Sarah, who looks just as shattered as I feel. "We'll make them pay," I whisper, and she nods, her eyes hardening with resolve. This is only the beginning. Emily and Ben won't know what hit them. The drive home is silent. Sarah is sitting beside me, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, her face a blank mask, but I can feel her anger simmering just below the surface. My knuckles are white against the steering wheel, my mind racing with thoughts of what just happened. Emily hasn't called. Not once. She knows I saw everything, and she hasn't even tried to explain. Maybe she knows there's no point. When we reach my house, Sarah follows me inside. Her husband, Ben, isn't with her. We left him back at the store, a trembling mess, trying to stammer out excuses while Emily sat there, silent and pathetic. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be near either of them. Inside, the silence stretches on, the tension palpable. Sarah stands by the window, staring out at nothing, while I pace the room. My mind is running circles, too many thoughts tangled together. Betrayal. Revenge. The hurt. It's all building up inside me like a pressure cooker about to blow. Finally, Sarah speaks, her voice low and sharp. "I can't believe them. My best friend, your wife, and my own husband." She spits the last word like it leaves a bitter taste in her mouth. "I should have seen this coming," I mutter, stopping mid-pace. My fists are still clenched. There were signs, but I ignored them. I trusted her. God, I was an idiot. Sarah turns toward me, her eyes red and puffy, but there's no more sadness in them, only anger. We trusted them, both of us. And they took that trust and threw it away. I nod, my jaw tightening. They think they're going to get away with it. That we're just going to roll over and forgive them. Well, they're wrong, Sarah says, her voice hard, almost a growl. They think they've hurt us. They don't know what real pain is. I look at her, surprised by the venom in her words, but then I realize it mirrors my own feelings. There's no point in pretending anymore. We're both consumed by a desire for retribution. So, what do we do? I ask, the words feeling heavy as they leave my mouth. Sarah's eyes lock onto mine, and for a moment, she hesitates. But then she steps forward, her expression darkening. We make them pay. We don't just walk away from this, not after what they've done. The thought of revenge has been swirling in my mind since the moment I saw Emily on her knees in that changing room. But hearing Sarah say it out loud makes it real. A plan starts to form in my head, slow and deliberate. They've betrayed us, I say, my voice low and measured, so we take everything from them. Sarah nods, her lips curling into a bitter smile. Yes. We take everything. The next day, I start putting my plan into motion. I know Emily better than anyone, and I know how to hit her where it hurts. Her life is meticulously crafted, her job, her reputation, her image. She's built everything on this perfect facade, and I'm going to tear it down piece by piece. First, I gather everything I need. Proof. I still have my phone, and I know exactly where the store's security cameras are positioned. A quick call to the store's management, pretending to be a concerned husband who's lost something valuable in the changing rooms, gets me what I need. The footage shows everything: Emily and Ben sneaking into the changing room, their faces clear as day. I send the video to Sarah. She replies within minutes, her message brief and cold: let's destroy them. The next step is Emily's work. She prides herself on her professional reputation, her spotless record at the marketing firm she's worked at for years. I know some of her colleagues, including her boss, and I know they won't take kindly to a scandal. Especially one this messy. That night, I stay up late, composing an anonymous email to her boss. I attach the video, along with a few choice words about her character. I don't feel guilty. She's done this to herself. The next morning, I hear her phone buzzing incessantly. Emily isn't home yet, but I know she'll come crawling back eventually. When she does, everything will have already started to unravel. It's late afternoon when Emily finally walks through the door. I'm sitting on the couch, waiting. The moment she steps inside, I can see the panic in her eyes. Her phone is in her hand, her fingers trembling as she clutches it like a lifeline. I can explain, she starts, her voice weak and shaky. Save it, I cut her off, standing up slowly. I don't want your excuses. Her eyes well up with tears, but I don't feel anything. Not anymore. I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispers. It was a mistake. I love you. Love? I laugh bitterly. You don't know the meaning of the word. Do you know what I saw in that changing room, Emily? Do you understand what you've done? She looks down, ashamed, but it's too late for that now. I toss my phone onto the table in front of her. The video plays automatically, showing her betrayal in full, painful detail. Her face goes pale, her hand flying to her mouth. How did you? She stammers. Does it matter? I snap. You've ruined everything. And now, it's your turn to suffer. Her phone buzzes again, and I see the fear in her eyes. She glances at the screen, her hands trembling. They're going to fire me, she whispers, her voice cracking. I feel a twisted sense of satisfaction at her words. Good, I say, my voice cold. Maybe then you'll understand what it feels like to lose everything. She breaks down, sobbing, but I don't comfort her. I don't feel anything but a hollow emptiness. I watch as her world starts to crumble around her, and all I can think is, this is only the beginning. Later that evening, I get a message from Sarah. It's done. I know exactly what she means. Ben's job, his reputation, everything is gone, just like Emily's. I don't respond. I stare at the message, feeling a strange sense of finality settle over me. The plan is in motion. There's no turning back now. Emily is upstairs, locked in the bedroom, probably crying herself to sleep. I don't care. She's lost everything, and soon enough, I'll be rid of her for good. The divorce papers are already drawn up, sitting on the desk, waiting for her to sign. This is just the start of her misery. I've made sure of it. And as for Ben, I can only imagine what Sarah has in store for him. I lean back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. The betrayal is still raw, still burning deep inside me. But for the first time since that day at the store, I feel like I'm in control again. This is my revenge, and it's far from over. The next few days are a blur. Emily drifts through the house like a ghost, her eyes hollow and red from endless crying. She doesn't speak to me, and I don't want her to. Her phone keeps buzzing, but she ignores it now, too ashamed to face anyone from her office. I've heard the stories, how her colleagues whispered behind her back, how her boss called her into his office and showed her the video. I can only imagine the humiliation as she tried to explain the unexplainable. Sarah, on the other hand, is laser-focused. She and I talk every night, going over what comes next. Her voice is always calm, measured, but I can hear the edge beneath it. She's just as broken as I am, maybe even more so. The difference is, she's better at hiding it. I want to confront Ben, she says one evening over the phone. Face to face. He's been hiding from me since it all went down, probably staying with some friend. But I'm not letting him slink away like a coward. He needs to see what he's done. I nod, even though she can't see me. Where do you think he is? I'll find him, she replies, her voice hard. And when I do, I want you there. We'll confront them together. That night, I lie awake, staring at the ceiling. My mind churns with thoughts of revenge, of what we'll say to them when we finally confront them together. But there's something else simmering just below the surface, a sense of unease that I can't quite shake. I'm consumed by this need for vengeance, but I wonder how far is too far. The next day, Sarah calls me. I found him, she says, her voice tight with anger. He's at a hotel downtown. Room 217. I'm going there tonight. I don't hesitate. I'll be there. We meet in the hotel parking lot just after sunset. Sarah's pacing when I arrive, her face a tight mask of determination. She looks at me, her eyes hard but red-rimmed, and for a moment, I see the exhaustion beneath her anger. This isn't easy for either of us, but it has to be done. You ready for this? She asks, her voice clipped. I nod. Let's get this over with. The hotel lobby is quiet, dimly lit with the soft hum of background music playing overhead. We take the elevator up in silence, the tension between us almost palpable. My mind races with what I'll say, how I'll confront them both. But when we reach the door of room 217, I suddenly feel the weight of it all crashing down on me. This is it. Sarah doesn't wait. She pounds on the door, her fist heavy against the wood. Ben! Open up. Her voice is sharp, commanding, leaving no room for hesitation. There's a pause, and then we hear footsteps on the other side. The door creaks open, and there he is, Ben, disheveled, his face pale with shock. He looks from Sarah to me, his mouth opening and closing as if he's trying to find the right words. Sarah, Shut up, she cuts him off, stepping into the room without waiting for an invitation. I follow close behind, my heart pounding in my chest. The room is small, cramped, with a messy bed in the center and clothes scattered across the floor. Ben backs up, his hands raised as if to ward us off. I didn't mean for this to happen, he says, his voice trembling. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. You're sorry. Sarah snaps, her voice venomous. You think that's enough? After everything you've done? He's silent, his eyes wide and fearful. For a moment, I almost pity him. But then I remember what I saw in that changing room, and any shred of sympathy I might have had evaporates. You betrayed me, I say, my voice low but steady. Both of you. Do you even realize what you've destroyed? Ben looks at me, his face crumpling. It was a mistake. I didn't. You didn't think. Sarah interjects, her voice shaking with fury. Of course, you didn't. You never do. You only think about yourself. Ben's shoulders slump, and he sinks onto the edge of the bed, burying his face in his hands. I know I messed up, he mumbles. I don't expect you to forgive me. Sarah steps closer, her fists clenched at her sides. Forgive you. Forgive you. She laughs bitterly. I'm not here for your pathetic apologies, Ben. I'm here because you need to understand something. You've ruined our lives, mine and his, she gestures to me. You think this is just going to blow over? That will forget about it? No. You're going to feel this, for a long time. Ben doesn't respond, his head still in his hands. The silence stretches, thick and suffocating, until Sarah finally turns to me. We're done here, she says coldly. Let's go. I hesitate, my eyes still on Ben, who hasn't moved. There's a part of me that wants to keep going, to make him suffer more, but there's also a part of me that's tired. Tired of the anger, the betrayal, the constant churn of emotions. Sarah grabs my arm, pulling me toward the door. Come on. He's not worth it. I follow her out of the room, my mind swirling with conflicting emotions. As the door closes behind us, I feel a strange sense of finality. It's not over, not by a long shot, but something has shifted. We've confronted them, and now, it's up to us to figure out what comes next. That night, I drive home in silence, the weight of everything pressing down on me. When I pull into the driveway, I see Emily's car parked out front. She's home, probably waiting for me with more tears and apologies. I don't want to face her, not yet. But as I step inside, I see her sitting on the couch, her face pale and drawn. She looks up at me, her eyes filled with desperation. We need to talk, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't respond, just stand there, staring at her. I'm tired of the lies, the betrayal, the constant back and forth. I know you hate me, she continues, her voice trembling. I know I've hurt you more than I can ever make up for. But please, just listen. I'm done listening, I say, my voice cold. I've heard enough. Her eyes fill with tears, but I don't feel any sympathy. Not anymore. I made a mistake, she says, her voice cracking. I know that. But I love you, and I want to fix this. I want us to be okay. I laugh, bitter and harsh. Fix this? You can't fix this, Emily. You destroyed everything. She looks down, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. But I don't move to comfort her. I can't. I'm filing for divorce, I say, my voice steady and calm, even though it feels like my chest is being torn apart. I want you out of here by the end of the week. Her head snaps up, her face pale with shock. Wait, what? You heard me, I say, turning away from her. We're done. She starts to sob, her hands trembling as she reaches for me, but I pull away. I can't be near her. Not anymore. As I walk upstairs, her cries echo through the house, but I don't stop. I feel numb, hollow, but there's a strange sense of relief in that emptiness. This is the beginning of the end, and there's no turning back now. The fallout has started, and we're all going to feel it. The days after our confrontation with Ben drag on with an oppressive weight. The house feels emptier than it's ever felt, despite Emily still being here, hovering like a shadow. Every time I see her, the rage churns inside me, barely contained beneath a thin veneer of control. I can't stand to look at her, and yet, there's a part of me that isn't satisfied. Not yet. I need something more, something final. Emily, to her credit, has given me space, but I know it's only because she's afraid. She senses that this isn't over, that something darker is brewing beneath the surface. She's right. It's late at night when I make my decision. I've been laying awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind working through the details of my plan. It's ruthless, but I don't care anymore. After everything they've done, I want them to hurt, both of them. Sarah and I had thought our confrontation was the end, but it was just the beginning. I pick up my phone and send her a message. We're not finished yet. Her reply is almost instant. What's next? I don't respond right away. Instead, I sit up, staring at the faint light of my phone screen as the final pieces of my plan click into place. When I text back, my message is simple: meet me tomorrow. We're going to make them pay. The next day, I meet Sarah at a coffee shop downtown. The tension between us is thick, but it's different now. It's not just shared anger or betrayal, it's something deeper, something darker. We sit across from each other, our eyes locked, and I can see the same hunger for revenge in her that I feel in myself. "What's the plan?" she asks, her voice low and steady. I lean forward, lowering my voice so no one can hear. "We hit them where it hurts most, everything they've built, everything they think is safe. We destroy it all." Sarah's eyes narrow, and she nods. I'm listening. I pull out my phone, showing her a series of messages I intercepted from Ben's account. He's been communicating with Emily, secretly, trying to figure out how to salvage what's left of their pathetic relationship. They're planning to meet up tomorrow night, somewhere private. They think they can still be together, I say, my voice dripping with contempt. Even after everything. They're planning to meet tomorrow, at some secluded spot just outside of town. Sarah's eyes flash with anger. "We confront them again." "No," I reply, shaking my head. "This time, we do more than just talk." Her expression hardens, and she leans in closer. "What are you thinking?" I explain the plan in detail. It's simple, but brutal. We'll follow them to their meeting place, but instead of confronting them outright, we'll turn the tables. We'll make them think they're safe, that no one knows where they are, and then we'll expose them. Publicly. Violently. We'll ruin any chance they have at salvaging their reputations, their lives. Everything. Sarah listens, her lips curling into a cold, satisfied smile. Let's do it. The night arrives quickly. Emily is still pretending everything's normal, but I can see the tension in her. She's been getting ready for hours, carefully applying makeup, choosing her outfit as if this is some innocent night out. She doesn't know that I've already read her texts, that I know exactly where she's going and who she's meeting. She leaves around 8, giving me a weak smile as she walks out the door. I watch her go, my heart pounding in my chest, but it's not sadness or regret that I feel, it's exhilaration. The plan is in motion. I wait for a few minutes, then grab my keys and head to meet Sarah. We're already in position by the time Emily and Ben arrive at their rendezvous point, a secluded park on the outskirts of town. It's late, dark, with only the faint glow of streetlights illuminating the path. They think they're alone. They think no one knows. Sarah and I watch from a distance as they sit on a bench, talking quietly, their heads close together. Ben's hand rests on Emily's leg, a sickening reminder of their betrayal. I feel my fists clench, but I keep calm. This isn't the time for anger, not yet. They look so comfortable, Sarah whispers beside me, her voice dripping with disdain. Like they don't have a care in the world. They won't be comfortable for long, I reply, pulling out my phone. I've already set everything up. With one tap, I activate the live stream I've prepared, broadcasting their little meeting to all of Ben's and Emily's contacts, their colleagues, their friends, everyone who matters in their lives. The camera on my phone zooms in, capturing every detail of their secret rendezvous. Now we wait, I say, leaning back against the tree as the video streams live. I can already see the messages flooding in, people commenting, reacting, horrified by what they're seeing. It's spreading like wildfire. They're going to be ruined, Sarah whispers, her eyes gleaming in the darkness. But the plan doesn't stop there. As the stream continues, I pull out another surprise, a recording I saved from that fateful day in the changing room. It's explicit, raw, undeniable proof of their betrayal. I attach it to the live feed, letting everyone see exactly what kind of people they are. It doesn't take long for Emily and Ben to notice something's wrong. Ben's phone starts buzzing, then Emily's. They look down at their screens, confusion turning to horror as they realize what's happening. "Oh my God," Emily gasps, her hands shaking as she frantically scrolls through the messages. "What? How? Ben's face goes pale, his phone slipping from his hands as he stares at the screen in disbelief. No, this can't be happening. But it is. It's happening, and there's no stopping it now. From our vantage point, Sarah and I watch as they fall apart, both of them frantically trying to delete the stream, to undo the damage, but it's too late. The truth is out, and there's no going back. They're done, I say, a grim satisfaction settling over me. It's over. Emily looks around wildly, her eyes scanning the darkness as if she knows we're there, watching. Who did this? She cries, her voice panicked, desperate. Who? But I don't step forward. I don't need to. She already knows the answer. Sarah turns to me, her expression calm, almost serene. We did it. I nod, feeling the same cold satisfaction. But there's something else too, something darker, emptier. The revenge, as sweet as it is, leaves a hollow space inside me. I realize, with a sinking feeling, that this wasn't just about them. It was about me, about us, and how far we've fallen. We're done, I say, my voice quieter now, more resigned. Let's go. Sarah doesn't argue. We walk away, leaving Emily and Ben to their devastation. They'll never recover from this, not fully. They'll be marked by this betrayal for the rest of their lives, their reputations shattered beyond repair. And as for us? We part ways in the parking lot without another word. There's no need for goodbyes. We were bound together by our shared hatred, our mutual need for vengeance. But now that it's done, there's nothing left to say. As I drive home, the night feels heavier than before. The revenge is complete, but the emptiness remains. Emily will be gone by the time I get back. I'll file for divorce, and I'll never see her again. The betrayal is over, but the scars will last forever. We've all lost something tonight.